Moving to Spain made me feel like a beginner again, which is a weird feeling when you're 38, married, raising 3 kids, and used to feeling like a capable adult. Because back in the US, when something was annoying, I knew how things worked. But here, the normal stuff can still make me feel new. Like registering my kids for school, getting paperwork done, answering phone calls in Spanish, or helping someone with directions but somehow still misunderstanding the question. And the weird thing is, those small moments are where Spain has felt the most real to me. Not the tourist stuff, the normal life stuff. So I shared a lot about the stuff that I love noticing here in Spain, like the plazas, the third spaces, just families being out late, kids playing, and people actually using public space. And all of that has been real to us. But I don't want to act like moving here has instantly made things make sense for us, because it didn't. Like, there's still a lot of moments where I think to myself, like, wait, how does that work here? And that's the part of moving abroad that people don't always see. You're not just moving to a prettier street or beautiful weather. Like, you have to learn how to do normal adult life again. And when you have a wife, 3 kids, appointments, school stuff, and just a whole new life to manage, that feels different. You know, it's not a bad thing, it's just humbling. So the first time this really got me was registering our kids for school. So me, my wife, and our youngest daughter went in, and we were doing our best to understand and speak everything in Spanish. We did pull out Google Translate for a little bit, but for the most part, we were staying in Spanish and trying to follow along as best as we could. And this felt different because we're not just ordering coffee or asking where something is. You know, this was my kid's school. This mattered a little more than that. Like, you want to understand everything, ask the right questions, and make sure you're not missing any important details because, you know, your Spanish isn't up to par yet. And I remember that pressure of, like, I'm the parent. I'm supposed to know what I'm doing. But at the same time, I'm also still learning. And while we were doing all this, the secretary who was helping us was very kind and patient. He even gave my daughter this little princess book for her to read while we were doing the paperwork. And in the end, he actually let her keep it, which was very generous of him. And I know that sounds like a small thing, but that's the kind of stuff that really just sticks with you and that you remember when you're still new somewhere. Because yes, I felt like a beginner and I was trying to keep up, but at the same time, the people who were helping us were giving us room to figure everything out along the way. And especially as a parent, that's very important because I'm not just trying to adjust for myself, I'm trying to help my kids feel like they belong too. So another very Spain moment for me was getting my digital certificate. So I showed up thinking I was prepared, right? I had everything that I needed. The digital copies on my phone, the screenshots, the files, all of it. Which now looking back on it was very American of me. But then I realized, no, I needed paper. I needed the printed documents, copies, a folder, everything. And then I remember thinking, okay, lesson learned. Spain still wants paper. But then the guy that was helping me, he was very kind. He spoke a little English to me, pointed me towards the nearest print shop, told me exactly what they needed, and he actually let me come back later that day. And then when I came back, he helped me right away. And towards the end, he made a little joke about my name because my full name is Lay Andrew. And in Spanish, ley means law. So he said basically now I can call myself the law, which it made that whole day feel a lot lighter. Because the process was frustrating, but the person that helped me was really kind. And I think that's just been one of the themes for me here. Like, sometimes the system feels confusing, but there are these little human moments where someone helps you through it. So now I know if I'm going to an appointment here in Spain, I'm bringing printed copies, original copies, a folder with everything, like I'm going to court or something, I don't know. So I learned that one pretty quickly. So Spanish in real life is another one. I'm learning poco a poco, but there's a difference between learning Spanish and actually needing Spanish when something matters. Like when the oven repair guy called me. He was letting me know when he was coming, and I handled the whole call in Spanish. And I told him I'd be home in about 30 minutes, and we both got through it, and I was pretty proud of that. Because phone calls in Spanish are still hard for me. You know, when you're in person, face to face, you can point, like read their facial expressions and, figure it out together. But when you're on the phone, all you can hear is their voice and you're just trying to keep up and hoping that you understand everything. But when he got to the apartment and started explaining the oven problem, that got technical pretty fast, and that's when Google Translate made a comeback. So that's basically where I'm at right now. I can definitely handle a lot more than I could before, but there's still those moments where I'm like, okay, this is way above my level right now. And that's okay, that's part of learning, but it just feels weird being a grown adult and suddenly not being able to explain yourself as clearly as you can in your own language. In English, I know who I am. And in Spanish, sometimes I'm just like, sí, vale, claro, and just hoping that I understood enough. So there was also this funny moment when my wife and I were walking to a cafe here in Colón in Valencia, and this lady stopped us and was asking where El Corte Inglés was. And my wife jumped in and pointed her in the right direction. But the woman was a little lost, so we got her attention and we told her to follow us so we could just kind of take her there. And then she asked if we spoke English or Spanish. We told her that we're still learning Spanish. And then she asked me if I was Spanish. She said, "Usted español?" And in my head, in that moment, I thought that she asked if I spoke Spanish. So I responded with, "Solo un poco." So basically, I told her I was a little Spanish. But yeah, we're definitely still learning. But that was a funny moment because even though we're still new here, we actually knew where to send her. We knew enough of the city to help somebody else, and that felt good because there's some days where, I barely feel like I know what I'm doing. But then there's those little moments like that where it feels like, okay, we're slowly learning this place little by little. So that's been the weird part about moving abroad for me, because you can still love a place and still feel awkward in it. You can feel grateful here and still be confused by basic things. You can still feel welcomed, but still know that you're not fully inside the culture yet. And that's the thing that I just want to keep being real about. I'm not here to sell Spain as some escape plan. I just want to share what it's been like for our family actually learning how to live here. And a lot of the moments that make me feel most connected to Spain aren't like those big ones. They're the small, normal ones. Like the school secretary giving my daughter the book, the guy helping me with my paperwork, the oven guy being patient with me as he explained, the oven problem, and the lady asking us for directions, and we somehow, were able to figure it out and help her. And that's real life, and that's the part that I'm still figuring out. And that's the part that makes me feel like, we're not just visiting Spain anymore. Like, we're actually learning how to live here. So yeah, moving to Spain has definitely made me feel like a beginner again. Sometimes it's frustrating, sometimes it's funny, but all of it has been good for me. So for you in Spain, what do you think foreigners misunderstood the most about normal life here? And for those of you that have moved abroad, what was the first thing that has made you feel like a beginner again? So I'm going to keep making videos about Spain through American eyes, family life abroad, and the things that we're still learning here in Valencia. So if you enjoy this, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.